Power is being gradually restored across Cuba after a country-wide blackout plunged nearly 11 million people into darkness yesterday. Many of the island's residents are still waiting for electricity to return. This blackout, just the latest in a series of major outages due to an aging power grid and lack of fuel, situation made worse by the U.S. blockade on oil deliveries from Venezuela. The country's future has become increasingly uncertain amid the political turmoil. Donald Trump saying he believes he could have the, quote, honor of taking Cuba. We are live on CBC News Network, and let's reconnect with our guest in Cuba, Josue Lopez. And Josue, when we were last talking to you, you mentioned you have power in your home in Guanabo, which is just east of Havana, and explain to our audience where that power is coming from.
Yes, we have in this amazing luck to be connected to this Canadian power plant that extracts natural gas from local sources, and they use it to generate electricity. So we're not suffering that much of blackouts. Actually, I don't have any planned blackouts in the area. The whole neighborhood, it's even going up in prices because of that. But now, for 3 days already, we've been getting hit, and as you see, it affects connectivity. It affects, of course, anything that runs with electricity, and the tower that run. The cellular signal, they have batteries that are also old and can collapse in a couple of hours. So this is what we see, that it just, if I disappear, just because those batteries run out. So we don't have this mental setup like the rest of Cuba has of charging everything whenever you have power. So it just catches me off guard. And, but well, you know.
Yeah, so tell me about what you know about the rest of the island, because I know outages can happen in Cuba, but maybe not as extensively as they've been happening lately. So tell me how people in Cuba are managing.
Well, it's been very regular for a few months already. I'd say a year even, but they've been getting much worse. I have friends who live in Matanzas that after the oil blockade started, they increasingly got much worse. And I have friends that tell me that they haven't had power for 3 days sometimes, very regularly for 12 hours. They're getting more connected than disconnected right now. So they're talking about when they're getting power, not when they're getting a blackout. So it got so bad that now it's when are we getting power? And sometimes they get power in the middle of the night, and they have to get up and do everything they need to do in the middle of the night. So I have family in Pinar del Rio that with 40 hours blackout. So it's pretty bad. It's really, really affecting the lives of everybody, because with all the shortages that we have on top of that, it's strangling every possibility that people have. Whatever food they're able to get, it's just going bad. So it's taking a toll on daily life.
Let's talk a little bit more about that toll that it's taking. Are people getting along with each other? Are they getting angry with their government? Is their anger directed towards the Americans? What are the moods like of people in Cuba right now?
Well, it's an interesting question, Ian. You know, most people here are quite educated when it comes to politics and how things work and how things get to this stage. So there is, of course, discontent with the government because there haven't been any investments in the power grids for, I think, 3 years or more. I mean, the last 3 years is what I've been looking at. So there's been major investments in other areas, like in tourism, hotels, things like that, that really affect the ability of the country to run itself. So there is, of course, the understanding that people have of how these extreme measures that the Trump government has imposed in Cuba, impeding basically any oil shipment for the last 3 months, when Cuba depends on imports. 60% of the oil that Cuba consumes depends on imports. So, I mean, it's been a crippled nation for 60 years. Of course, there is a lot of mismanagement inside the country, especially in the later years. And people, it's getting to a point where they don't care who is responsible. And that's what I'm seeing and what I feel. I have a nephew that left the country because he's like, I'm tired of waiting. You know, I'm 28 years old. I want to see my life go by and not struggling every day. So it's something that I think it crossed the barrier of, you know, I don't care whose fault it is anymore. I just want this issue to be fixed.
And in terms of hope, in terms of hoping that this is going to be fixed, do people turn to their own leadership in Cuba? Do they hope that a foreign country will intervene? What do the people of Cuba hope for?
Beyond any intervention, it's if you look back when Obama and Raul Castro had this understanding, there was I don't know how many presidents visited Cuba. As soon as the U.S. manifests positively about Cuba in some way, the whole world turns to Cuba. So right now, more than an intervention, I think they're trusting in some sort of understanding with the United States government, and they're hoping for it. I'm hoping for it to be fast, because I'm starting to feel what people have been feeling for months or years already. And it takes a toll also on everyday business. In my case, I work with foreign companies coming to film in Cuba, and it's, you know, they cannot be here because of right now people don't want to risk having a trip here and not being able to film, or suffer through blackouts, or having a national blackout that is going to last maybe 12 hours, but it could last 72 hours. So again, for me and for what I see mostly in people, it's this big issue needs to be resolved, because right now, I mean, as of today, the main issue is with the U.S., who's blocking and sanctioning other countries that try to even think of helping Cuba in a way, and get out of this literal darkness that the country is immersed in. So the way I see it right now is just when this announcement is going to come, that Cuba and the U.S. came to an understanding, and we're going to be moving forward and seeing oil coming into the country for a start.
Josue Lopez, I so appreciate your willingness and ability to be able to speak with us, and I hope we can connect with you again in the future, and I hope that things become more stable for you and your business, and for others as well in Cuba. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me, and have a great night.